All right, welcome everyone. It's the best day of the week. Why? Well, because the market is opening. We've been waiting for so many days for the markets to open. Well, like that's what we do as traders. We just sit around every weekend, just wait for Monday to come along. Isn't that right? Today we have a very, very exciting episode because we got Yiannis here, the conscious day trader, and he's promised me to do some type of NLP session with me here today. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting. How are you guys doing?
Oh, yeah. I'm very good. Very good. I've never been on a live with 4 people. This is cool. We need more of these.
Look at that. Maybe I'll stay there. Maybe I'll stay just because we're 4 people and it works really well with the layout. Maybe I'll stay.
Yeah, it does look very good. Yeah,
I'm excited. Hello, everyone. Because as traders, Monday is a great day because we can trade again. So I'm excited. I'm excited to learn about that NLP, Yiannis. So I'm curious.
Good stuff. The Monday is good, but we've got bank holiday and Memorial Day in New York, so it's been a bit of a dull start, but some movement's coming in.
I actually haven't been trading today. I don't plan to be trading as well. I woke up today and I'm like, yeah, it's not going to be a trading day today. You get days like that when you feel like you're just not in the flow, and today is one of those days. So for me, I'm just observing.
That's nice.
Yeah,
I quite like those days sometimes as well. It's really nice just to have a little bit of a day off and not be always looking at a screen.
Yeah, I'm not really having the day off though. Like one of the reasons why I'm not trading is because I got way too much to do outside trading.
Yeah,
but it's fun, working. I mean, I'm we're doing what we love. We're here, like we can't complain. We're working, we're trading. It's a blessing to be able to do this. The freedom that this provides is just amazing. By the way, guys, go into the description of the video. We have links to Yiannis. You can check out his YouTube channel. You had something. You gave a link. What's that link? Some challenge.
Yeah, so I'm doing a 6-week challenge and trying to get someone to pass a 5ers prop firm challenge. So it's going to be open for everyone to join. And hopefully I'll share that journey as well on YouTube if they like it.
You're doing it or you're helping somebody else do it?
Helping other people to pass.
Oh, wow. That looks really, really good.
Yeah. So the idea is that you get...
no copy trading, I hope, Yiannis.
Yeah, I do all the work. You pass the challenge.
You do the KYC and I will do the trading.
No, it's basically... how can I use my NLP work, which helped me? Like I've said before, I've got the benefit of having my wife doing all that work with me, but having something that you can use without my wife, but also be able to, show a little bit about how I trade. And it's going to be a nice process. They're going to get my phone number, and then, it's going to be like and all the stuff you've been talking on the lives, like how not to rush challenges, how to take it slow, how to play the long game, not rushing into those profits.
Did you say that they're going to get your phone number?
I was just thinking about that. That is
nice. You heard it here. You heard it here first. If you want Yiannis' phone number, you know what to do. Check
late
the
night
link in the
calls and
description
everything,
below.
or is there a certain amount of time you're
well, my aim is to give these guys, no excuses. Like you have something that you can, you have access to people that have done it before. You have this beautiful community in the 5ers. You've got the 5ers Discord. You've got so many ways that you've got information. And sometimes we're just are not willing to do the simple stuff. We get so fixated with doing the 1% that we think needs improvement, but the 99s that need to actually the simplicity and taking your time and slowly improving yourself and not rushing. Which is one of the biggest things of passing challenges. So hopefully we'll get a few of those in the funded era.
Seeing also that we have the 5ers logo and the ICT logo very close to each other. This is what me and Alex have been trying to get together.
This is marketing dreams, I love the button. You got the countdown, God.
This looks very good. I gotta say, it's a landing page. This is professional stuff right here. This is I want to sign up. I definitely want to sign up.
Russell Brunson with the ClickFunnels, he would be proud at this right now. He would be very proud.
Yeah. One day, maybe I'll meet him one day and be like, I remember that challenge you did. It was great.
But that's good stuff. I'm gonna put my headphones on because Yiannis did say that there's some echo in the beginning, so I want to make sure that there's.
To be fair, I've got no echo now, so it must be the setup.
Yeah, but I can barely hear you guys because I got the speaker so low, so I gotta.
Can we get a link to that website? That is in the description, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah,
correct.
That's in the description. Yeah. So, go on then, Jonathan. What is the agenda? How is everything working today? Because I want to see some NLP. Techniques.
Yeah, it's all you, Yiannis.
Well, I think, am I correct? We've got another ICT trader in the house.
Oh, do we?
Well, he trades order blocks though, so I guess.
I don't consider myself.
We've got a secret ICT trader in our team.
A secret ICT.
Secret, yeah.
Okay. I was going to say is I don't know if you want to touch a little bit base on the pound dollar, where we're at, and then
we will let the audience decide. Do you want to see an ICT strategy being broken down on GBP USD?
I definitely do.
Yeah, me too. You know what? Let's go.
All right, cool. So let me just share my screen.
Pull it up.
Okay, so what we're going to be looking today, and I think let me just take that down.
Oh God, wait, which one is it? There you go. Okay, we can share that now.
Right. So, who here has ever traded the Judas move?
Victor.
I haven't. I haven't.
Let's see in the comments. I know.
Not me.
I haven't.
No, I
haven't.
I promise. It wasn't me. No.
Okay. So, basically, in my favorite ICT, as you know, is Silver Bullet. That's my go-to setup to find entries. I absolutely love it. Just because it brings so many different concepts, like I've said before, expansions of moves, fair value gaps, all these things. You hear Scruffy saying it in his own words. You hear ICT saying it in other words. You see, even the guy that you brought in from the banking sector, he was actually using fair value gaps in a different manner. He was talking about round numbers. But if you looked at the round, was it Paul Scott?
Yeah, Paul Scott's not going to like that.
But if you looked at where those randos, where the round numbers were, where they're around 50% of fair value gaps, because I had it up at the same time, and I was like, oh my God, the people here are doing the same things without knowing they're doing the same things. So nothing's new in trading. If we call this ICT, if you call it Scruffy Madness, if you call it whatever, it's just all of us trying to pick ideas from each other and create something that makes sense to us. And that's what I find amazing about ICT is I picked a few ideas and I added my sort of repositioning or pound average or whatever you call it to risk manage it and then made it my own strategy. So what we're looking at today. Today, I'm going to show you a few little tricks on what I do to make it really, really simple to identify the Judas move. So I have some indicators which you're going to love. I know I've shared before some of these, but I've got some new ones in there. So I was like, right, I want to turn on the screens, and how can I make it so simple that I just press a button and everything is set? And like, I just turn up and I've got my kill zones, which is 3 times in a day, because now I'm a dad. I'm like running around my son everywhere. It's like missing things there and there. So I'm like, how can I make it so simple that I'll just pick up an idea and see if I want to trade it? So I'm just going to clear everything out. This will require no levels. It will do our levels for us. So what we're going to do is going to start with the first one, which is the midnight open. So if you go into indicators and you put midnight open and you look at the first one, which is a funny name, Orc Chieftain, midnight open New York time. I really like this one because it actually gives you a line that goes across the time zone, and it starts at the 12 o'clock New York time. So it's quite a nice, and you'll see why this is important. Look how well it's been respected, the New York Open. Every time price comes and bounces off, it's rejected, breaks above, finds the midnight open, then goes up, and now it's going into something that we're going to talk about. Now, that's the first one. Why is that important? Because with any, can I zoom in the chart? I'm not zoomed in for a reason. I'll zoom in a second. I just want to show you that's where the, I guess I can zoom in like this. This is where the open starts on the New York midnight. The next one they're going to look at is something really cool that I found is the silver bullet. If you've seen that video, I can now put in blocks all my silver bullets. So I can go in my testing. You've got different sessions you can use. And I've put it on London silver bullet red, New York AM, and New York PM in purple. So now I can go in historical data and I can look back at all my kill zones and what happened there, right? So that's pretty easy. So not only we have the kill zones, now we have the opens, so we can go back. That's where the New York Open, that's where the kill zone was, that's where the New York Open is, and that's where the kill zone was. And you can do very, very easily, you can do your back testing within a couple of hours. You can do multiple days of testing when you do, it comes to ICT concepts with these indicators. Right, third one. I think we're going to put 3. I'm going to talk about 4, which I like. Now, I've just added this, only this, unless we can delete all the others to show you what it is, area here, which is the Asian range. Now, why do we need the Asian range? If you know what the Judas is, we're talking about the outcome of the Asian range. We're going to do something with what happens after the Asian range, and especially when we're opening after 12 o'clock in New York time. So this timing zone of this area is from 7 p.m. New York time until 12 o'clock. That's where we're looking at the Asian range. And in an ideal scenario for the Judas move, you want that to be consolidating. And you'll see the difference in other areas where it's not consolidating. But we want that to be a consolidating. Now, the idea of the Judas move is that as we open the Judas move and we're going into New York post 12 o'clock, we're looking for manipulation of price in both directions. So people that are looking for a breakout of the Asian range, breakout strategies, they will be caught in buys. And people who are looking to reverse, they'll be caught in shorts on the bottom side of the range. And what do I mean by that? People will be interested to do something here, and people will be interested to do something here. Now, what you see with the Judas move is that the price goes and taps into those orders, goes and taps into the other orders on the other side, and then does the move. So what we'll be looking for, how do we find a Judas move entry and what it is? So in a nutshell, we're looking for manipulation of the buy side, manipulation of the sell side, above and below the Asian range. Now, normally, we'll see a short manipulation above the opposite side of the Judas move. So we see a little pump above the range, and this delivery of price below the range will be the Judas move. And the Judas move will be like everyone's seeing this and saying, okay, heavy shorts are coming in. So I want to be involved in shorts here. And soon as it goes below the Asian range, and yes, you can look up fair value gaps on this side, but as soon as it goes below the Asian range, this is the indication to go long. A benefit of this also, you could combine the concepts of silver bullet. So let's say we're here, we see the price. Do you want to? Yes. Let me just go back on that. So we are below the Asian range, and we have identified that we want to be long. Let me just find that moment again. We were analyzing this move. Let's do this move anyway. So when you find the identification of, let's say this is the move here, then you would go into a kill zone and you will look for the fair value gaps. Fair value gaps will be something like this. This is on the opposite direction. For people that don't know fair value gap, it's a 3-candle formation. And the midpoint where we have no price in between the candles, from here to there, that's where price goes and taps into and then starts selling off into the other direction. Now, the other move that we're looking for, I might try and find it because it was a good move, had a nice delivery of the Asian range low, and then it gave us a nice opportunity to go long. I believe is this one, to go long with a fair value gap in that range. Here's another example. Takes the high, delivers below the Asian range, and then distributes price for more than 20 to 50 pips. I believe that is more than 35 pips. And this happens over and over again. So that's the Judas move. Now, what to be careful with the Judas move, you will see things like this. Delivery of shallow below the low, and then a spike for 50 pips up. So for the Judas move to actually work, we would have to take the low and then a slow distribution above the buys. But if people, which I'm sure they did, people who trade the Judas move, were shorting this here. So now you are caught thinking that this was the Judas move manipulation to continue the price lower, but now you're stuck with that trade. And that's where I bring the combination of repositioning, because if you put a close TP of 5 pips there, ICT style, that's fine. You will just miss that trade. But I hate missing opportunities. So I normally spread my trade, let's say by 10, 20 pips, and I reposition in. And then I reposition. I can't go into repositioning too much, but basically I try and take away my worst entries and push myself up in a better place so I can see that big delivery when it comes. And why will it come? Because we have nice little monthly levels there, and you'll see that that is the actual monthly high that is played up now, and we're actually trading quite close to it as we are going in now. So as you can see, what I like about these indicators is that one, I can just switch them all off very quickly, and I've got a clean chart, price action, time-based. That's the best way to trade. But if I just want to see the kill zones, just one click of a button and I'll just see the kill zones. If I just want to see my zones and levels, take it all out and gone. If I want to see round numbers, that's another one that I didn't mention. I really like this one. So I've set it. It's called round numbers, I think. Round number and Q levels. I've put it as purple, and I've put the quite a heavy line that just increases the heavy line. And what that does, it gives you the round numbers closer to where you are with a 50% of that close round number. So we're trading at the 50% of 128 to 127. And listening to our friend from the bank industry, this is where people start getting, right, are we going to 128? Are we going to 127? Where is value? And now we're at the 50%. So maybe that can help with bias. Do I want to be trading when the price is not close to a round number? So there we go. That's your Judas move. I hope that's been helpful.
Quick question. Do you trade on the manipulation of the Asian range? Wow, I sound like I'm, an ICT trader now. Oh, look at me.
Look at you.
Look at me, yeah. Do you trade both the manipulation to the one side to the short, the manipulation to the other side? So basically, you just trade the range until you get the distribution move. You know what
I'm gonna be that guy who you can say you can do whatever you want. The thing is,
fair play. Do you personally do that?
I personally don't like the first move because what I found is something like this. So it's gone above. Now you're shorting to go below here, right? So you would short this first manipulation to go to the low of the Asian, but that has held you in the same trade until what's that? From 9 hours before it delivered that price. And it would still work. You could still like manage this trade, but I don't think we can take the simplicity of reversing the Asian range into a strategy. It needs to be more than that. It probably is profitable, maybe in the 60s or 55%. And that's where you would have
much more than my strategy.
So yeah, it's a simple strategy. ICT 15 years ago, he didn't do even all this. All he had on his chart was the midnight open when he was trading indices, and he would literally trade if it's broken above or below with his bias, the New York midnight open, and then he evolved that into what now he calls the Judas move. But the Asian range, guys, is one of the most manipulated range because you've got London after that. And that is where the easy pickings come from the big boys. So that's why
I actually had an interview right before this live stream with a trader that's found a trader with us, and he funnily enough, he trades the Asian range, and he said the same thing. Like the Asian range is a very, very important part of his trading. So basically, what he does is like, I guess it's almost the opposite here. Like when price breaks above the Asian range, he wants to long that move, and when it breaks below, he wants to short that move. But what you're saying here is you look at the Asian range, and what I'm trying to understand is, so when you say manipulation, do you talk about a sort of fake out of the highs? If you have a move above Asian highs and then it falls back into the range again, is that a manipulation?
Here's manipulation. So we're at this point in the chart, and it's not going to show me the range because I put it in the range. Oh, it is. Okay. So are you going long or short?
Here.
Let's say whatever. Just pick one side.
Short.
Yeah, I'll go long.
All right. So Alex is going. Alex is going long in this. Okay. So Alex is here, and Jonatan is going short. Where are you going short?
Where I'm selling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd sell right now, and I'd have the stop loss at the line where Alex wants to go long.
Take Alex out. So the theory around Asian range, and I'm joking, but if we think about institutional trading, big money trading, they normally trade around big moves, or they need to build up interest so then they can capitalize on a bigger move. So they need to get orders out or fill orders in. So let's say I want to be going long, right? I mean, I'm an institutional trader, and Alex is going long here, but I want to be lower. I want to be long here. What you tend to see with the Asian range is, Alex, where would you put your stop?
Where you're marking?
Yeah, so probably it would be logical to go in a full swing wave, which is actually the range of the Asian range. And sometimes I've noticed, and you will notice if you see the Asian range, even if you go a wave below, and we saw that with a big spike, when was it? That one there. That took a lot of liquidity here on that spike. But you will see that spike pushes even lower. And just to show you what I mean, if Alex is going, let's say, long there, so now he's been, let's say he's clipped, it will come and stop these people out, even stop these people out sometimes, and then come back up. Now, if you see that move, and you might have seen a lot of the times you get caught in both directions, and you're like, oh, I was going long, and now this looks like a perfect short. You go short, and then it reverses, and it goes all the way back to where you were. And you're just so annoyed because you're like, oh, I wish I had held it for longer. And it just comes and and like brings the price back up. And with the Judas move, you can explain that, because here we've got Alex's buy stops. Below here, we've got his stop loss. But we don't only have stop loss, we have actually the people who are interested to short below this. So Jonatan wants to go short here. So what happens with price? Takes Alex in, takes Alex's stop, takes Jonathan's short. And where's short of Jonatan? It's probably going to be on the top of the swing. Now we've had the manipulation of Judas. Alex is out. Jonatan is in. And now Jonatan is out. And price manipulated. So both you guys who are going short and long have been stopped out. And the real move was Alex's original move if he had not been stopped out. But because it's a bit uncomfortable to be on the top of this range and wait for that price to push 10 pips, maybe not 10 pips is okay. But let's say in a normal non-bank holiday range, that might be 25. Then it becomes a little bit uncomfortable. You're like, okay, I need to do something about this now.
Okay, so when do I enter? Where do I enter?
Down here.
Okay.
Wherever you've been taken out.
You want to see the highs and the lows being taken out, and then it's time for you to enter.
You need to have a bias. You can't just see this move and say, I'm going long, right? So we need to go on the daily. Is the pound dollar going? Am I willing to go higher price today? Yes. Okay. If I want to go higher, then I need to see this price action. I need to take the highs of the Asian range, slow distribution below the Asian range, and then I deliver price on the top. And this can be done up to 5 a.m. in the morning in the New York time. You will see this manipulation. If you're going short, then you would see the opposite. You would see a short distribution below, Judas move above, and then that price would continue lower.
Basically,
all right. So this is
of the Asian range. It's a range expansion of the Asian range, and then it makes it move.
So this is actually quite easy to test. I mean, you just put the Asian range on, and then you test it. I mean,
yeah.
I guess you have to refine your entry criteria and stuff.
Like I said though, there's occasions where this will be choppy. This is a good example. Top, bottom distribution works out. This is the choppy one. Below, above, but it took you 50 pips up before it delivered price below.
Yeah, I'll be out. I got like a 10 pip stop loss.
Yeah. So this is another
guys,
one.
Before we move on, I just want to we're gonna run a quick promotion for the live stream marathon, if you will, that the Trader Pool is running. I guess you can see we got the banner in the bottom. If Alex can get rid of the comments, you'll see what I'm talking about right there. I'm gonna run a quick video and then I'm explain what that is and why you all should sign up to it. For those of you who do have your ears left, yeah, I'm sorry about that. But for those of you who can still hear what I'm saying, I'm going to walk you through this quickly. So Trade the Pool, as you know, they're doing a deep dive training in 6 days, 6 days and 24 hours to be exact. So you'll find the link in the description of this video right here. Now, this is the Trade the Pool. Obviously, they trade equities, but this is a really cool event that that I believe you should go to, even if you're trading equities, forex or whatever, because you're going to have 8 expert traders that are going to share everything they know with you, and they have a lot of different partners coming in. And as you can see here, it's a pretty nice schedule throughout the day. It's going to be a 8-hour long live stream with lots of different traders and partners that is coming.
Competitions, raffles, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge competition. You can win up to is it 1.5 million?
No, so that's the that's the amount of prizes.
That's the account,
in
right?
total. Yeah, that's the yeah. That's not the account.
That's the giveaway. That's the giveaway value, basically.
Pool. Thank you very much, Victor.
Yeah.
That's the prize pool.
Yes, the prize pool. So what you have to do is you have to go to the link in the description of this video, secure your seat right here by signing up with your name and email, and then you'll be able to join that 8-hour live stream. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be replays of everything as well, right?
Well, I don't think so. I
No?
don't think so. No.
All right, so you're going to be there. You're going to be join the live.
You gotta be there.
Join the live.
There will be square.
Yeah,
anyway, we'll get back
exactly.
to Yiannis, because Yiannis was in the middle of something and then you cut him off. I was literally listening to what he was saying and you just cut him off.
Yeah,
So
but
Yiannis,
yeah, okay. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Back. It's all right. Go back. What were you saying, Yiannis?
Oh, I can't remember now. Sorry.
Oh no,
it wasn't important. I'm sure. That's
Oh
pretty
man,
cool,
I'm sorry about that.
Yanni, someone asked about today's EU's price action. They say it was similar today as to what you're showing. Is that the case? Did it manipulate today as well?
Yeah, so let's have a look at this. And that's what I like. You can just jump on a new asset, and I've got my levels already there without doing anything. And that's the literally if you have some good indicators, not the ones that you're trying to get entries and all that, but indicators that just apply previous weekly highs, lows, it makes it easy for you to keep in touch with this. Now, this is an interesting one. Who said this? What was his name?
What,
This
who
is
was
a-
it?
Andreas.
This is a good
Andreas
spot.
Cano.
This is a good spot.
Cano.
Now, this would have caught people short. Why? Because we've had a shallow distribution below the Andreas is a Greek friend, sounds a Greek. Below the, so I'll show you, because I know you're used to these boxes. So this is sell side, right? So it's taken out sell side. Where is buy side sitting? Buy side, we've got equal highs, relative equal highs here, and we've got a silver bullet entry there. So let's take that out for a second so you can see the price action. This is where you would free, and remember this is on the 5 minute, so it's close range on the 5 minute buy side liquidity. What we've seen, delivery of price above. So now this would be a nice entry for price to go low. But what did it do before it did that? It pushed up another 15 pips. For me, 15 pips is way within my range. Like I could reposition 20 pips. So this would be, if I position once here with half my position and I position 10 pips away, this would reposition this. This would be a profitable trade. And that's why what I like about this is a losing trade with ICT stop, but you can make it a winning trade with appropriate risk management and appropriate an exit plan or trade management, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a couple of you guys do pound average approach in the 5ers. I can't remember who it is now, but I've seen it a couple of times where they do pound average, and in my head it makes sense, because if I'm going full on in a trade, I'm taking full on of the risk on that trade. So if let's say I want to risk 10 lots and I go in with 10 lots, I'm either going to be right or I'm going to be wrong. Now you can adapt your risk by decreasing your lot size. If I'm 50%, it's not my A setup. I can be in with 0.5 and apply that 0.5 or 5 lots higher. So now I've averaged higher up when I'm wrong. But when I'm right, I'm still getting paid, but I'm not getting paid as a 10 lot. I'm getting paid as a 5 lot. So you start thinking a little bit about the long term and not that every day I need to make this number. So how am I going to survive this? How am I going to be profitable months down the line or years down the line? That's what should be the process around it. And a good spot on the euro dollar. It's a bit, because of bank holiday, I could guarantee if this wasn't a bank holiday, these Judas moves would have had a bigger spike and they would be beautiful to trade because they would have been a lot easier to get positions. And this is a big push up.
For a new trader, would you say they should do try repositioning right away, or is that something higher difficulty level?
So I would say repositioning is a I'll explain it like this. Repositioning is this. If I've got a trade here and a trade here, this trade is going to reposition this. So that trade is going to go away. So now I'm left with a better position higher up than the one that's gone away. Now, what you can do in a pound average, or what Scruffy does, for instance, bouncing the price between these levels. That's another way of doing it. Another way of doing it is pound averaging. So you're constantly dividing your trade into, let's say, 4 positions.
And you're holding all of them.
You're holding all of them all the way to until you're profitable and you hit your target. Obviously, all these have different risk parameters. Because if I'm repositioning and my reposition never repositions, then I might have 2 or 3 positions that need to reposition. That makes sense. So you have to be able to manage the waves. You have to understand the assets. You have to understand what ATRs are we on. Not in general, what ATRs are we in these months? This month ATRs for the pound dollar, or the last 4 months ATRs? How is it behaving? Is the election comes? All these things that play a role. You have to be aware of this because that affects, okay, am I going to take 2 positions? Or I'm going to take 1 position because I know I will only need to reposition down here to get 50% of the move. So it makes it a little bit safer. Now, about the beginners that you said, I would say the simplest way to understand pound averaging is, let's say you're entering here and you place a stop here. And that stop is, if I was
30 pips.
20 pips. So I've got a 20 pip stop. How can I make that stop 40 pips?
By taking half the position?
Exactly. So I would spread that in half. So now this one is 40 pips, and I can apply this one in another position for my total 20 pips that I would have risked originally. And that way, now I've given myself, instead of 20 pips, I've given myself a 40 pip move, which I can manage the trade. So you're risk managing for the worst case scenario, not the best case scenario. And people will say, well, if I do that, I'm going to make less money because now instead of having my full position, I've got half my position. Well, trust me on this, 1% of people who are making it in this industry are worrying about safety first and profits later. If you can write that down on your front of your screen and say safety first, profits later, you're going to do well in this industry.
Fair enough. Yep.
And here's Alex.
Definitely one of those. I was definitely one of those people.
So, but
yeah, no, it's all
10 lots.
But repositioning is that you only put half on with 20 pips, and then the other half you put in if the first one gets stopped out, or
Victor wants to give all my secrets away. No, it's basically, the idea is pound averaging. And what your question is the first question I always get when someone starts with repositioning is, do you always try and reposition your worst entry? The aim is for me to push my trade overall higher. So what I'm doing, if I want to short this from here and I've got it wrong, I want to be able to still be in my trade, but at a better position. So the only way I can do that is decrease the risk of this. And every time it's pushing down, I'm spreading my position up. Every time it gives me a little bit of price, I reposition these out. So that's gone. Now I'm left with this one and this one, with the aim that my top side is always going to try and reposition my worst entry.
I see.
It's hard to give you the whole explanation.
Do you ever add to winners?
Very good question. I very rarely. Well, I always get small wins because my lot is quite small, but I always plan for safety. So it's weird because I never get the big wins from one position. All my good trades come from 3-4 positions. But obviously other traders literally just plop full lot size in there, fair value gap pushes, boom, delivery, easy peasy, done the trade in 10 minutes. Well risk managed because they might have a stop 10 pips away. That happens 4 times out of 6. Amazing. Like it's everywhere, all different, right? This is not the way to do it. This is just my way of trading.
Nice. Interesting. Yeah, it's always interesting to see how other traders do it.
That's where you need that's where you need a lot of NLP work, because you're in drawdown a lot. You get used to being in drawdown. You see drawdown as a good thing.
I see these moves less. Obviously, I see them on currencies, but where I see them in the market, I see most of these like liquidity grabs. A lot of the manipulation is the crypto market. It's happened because without it moving, it has to go to find that liquidity. It has to maneuver and make liquidity. Obviously.
Thank you, Henry. I've been trying to speak here for the last 10 minutes. It's just like you're muted. I'm like, thank you.
So yeah, I see these moves, especially where you've got, a small range. There will be a deviation into the range. It will come back in, go back, make another deviation, and then go the move. So it likes just to farm that liquidity before it actually makes a move. Currencies, I still haven't got the eye for it, but it's a nice way of looking at the market.
I think crypto. One thing I'll say. Well, the same goes with indices, right? The indices,
exactly.
They're always biased long, right? Because we're constantly feeding indices with the best companies in the world. So the bad companies will come out, the good companies will come in. So overall, in the long run, these indices are tending to go up. That means that when they're shorting, they short hard because there's a shift. Now, repositioning, and that's what I said to the guys in the group, repositioning is it should be taken with a bit of a pinch of salt when you're trying to trade it on indices, because you get less of these bounces and you get more of those expansive moves. So you can get caught really easily. And I found that when I was trading the DAX, trying to reposition, the DAX will just expand massively, and you might be 5 positions in. It's like, wait, it hasn't given anything back, so I'm going to have to close this. And it's not a nice place to be. Whereas the pound dollar is very rare that it's going to do some ridiculous moves that is going to be out of the norm. And if they do, it's normally Brexit, it's normally NFBs, you see them coming. Where with the DAX and indices, it's like, wait, what just happened? It's just moved in one direction. You have no idea why.
Yep.
And since you're trading Asian range or a setup that is based on the range of the Asian session, does that mean that you can only use that for intraday trade, right? Because it wouldn't make sense for longer term, or do you use this in conjunction with higher time frame setups as well?
You can place this. Let's say you're looking on the daily, right? And you've got a bias over all the dailies. So I've been looking at this as in these 2 boxes here. These are the liquidity arenas. My big question here is, are we going to hit 129s, or are we staying at 123s? And funny enough, look at this range. It's exactly at 129 and 123. Like round numbers. So that's where we are now. So we're currently if you take a Fibonacci retracement on that, 76.4. So now if you're looking at this from a daily perspective, you can use the Asian range and you want to short this because you're saying, okay, we've hit 76.4. I'm going to short this down here. You can look at the Asian range to find an entry. And what do I mean by that? If you go back to the 15-minute, now you know you're looking for shorts because we're at the 76.4. You might think, okay, if it comes to that monthly high, I'm interested to short that. Start my trade from there. But this is a daily decision. It's not a 15-minute decision. You're just using the 15 minutes to just get a little bit of a better price. Because if you get an entry here, you might be able to manage that trade a lot easier.
When I was first beginning to trade and I would look at like higher time frame levels, I always, would go on the lower time frames and I would see a small reaction and think that was the reaction, when really if it's a 4-hour level, you also need a 4-hour, you need a time that 4-hour level needs to time for it to actually work. Just because you see a 4-hour level has like a 1-minute reaction, that's probably not the actual real move. Especially if it's a daily level, it may take a couple of days for you to really see a rejection off that level. And not just, small little moves that you get into trades and then you get stopped out straight away afterwards. Because it has.
I absolutely agree. When you go on the 4-hour level and you just see this candle, all what we've been discussing about is within this candle. And you get into like, okay, this is taking this liquidity, that liquidity. But if you zoom out a little bit, you can see that this has been buying for a very, very, very long time. Now that juice move was confirming a long setup, and it did deliver that setup for 40 pips, I believe, this morning. But if you have that bigger picture, you just need to declap the noise and say, okay, I've got my decision done. I don't need to be thinking of shorts, or if you're in the other direction, I don't need to be thinking of longs. Where does it make sense for me to get in? And then the conversation is different than saying, right, let's go on the 1 minute. Jesus Christ, look at this movement. It's perfect. Up and down, up and down. Right, oh my God, I need to long this because it's gone down here. Then you get caught into what is movement that is not actually moving the markets. It's just manipulating the markets. And you can get chopped up very, very easily.
What about risk reward ratio? Do you use that in your TP settings, or is it just based on the other side? And what about your stop loss? Is it fixed like 10? I think you said 20. Or does risk reward have any considerations in your stop loss placements and TP?
Let's make it like realistic to passing challenges and so on, right? So if let's say you've got your drawdown of your account, which is $500. Okay, I can't remember now let's say $1,000 on a 40K account. So if you've got $1,000, what would be a sensible risk for me to take on a trade? I'm going that way because the risk reward for me doesn't apply when you're trying to grow accounts. When you're trying to grow to accounts, every trade that I take is a different risk reward or risk managed because it's a different day, different situation, different setup. If I go in and say every time I get in, I'm going to risk 1, and I know this is contradicting a lot of people, I'm going to risk 1 to make 4. That is there's a thought there that trade is exactly the same that all my trades I'm going to be taking in my career, which are not. I might have woken up and I'm in the mood. I might have woken up and the positions that I normally take are not there. So I'm searching. I might be trading a different asset. So for me, risk reward can't be exactly the same when you're trading differently and different assets and different methodologies, different hours every single day. Statistically speaking, it makes sense. Because if I statistically make more than I lose, that makes sense. For an EA and a robot, that absolutely makes sense. But for me as a human being, I find it very hard to fix myself to a risk reward mentality. Now, what do I do instead? I will assess the situation. I will have a risk that I'm willing to take depending on my performance on my previous couple of weeks. So if I've made, let's say in a small account, I've made a couple of $100, those couple of $100, when I'm growing an account, become a little bit more of a buffer, because I'm not going to take that money out. I'm just growing it. Let's say I've got $1,000 and I was willing to risk $100. Now I've got 1,200. It might be that I'm willing to risk $110. So my whole setup of repositioning and doing my positions needs to fit in to the $110. So rather than a risk reward, it's more like, what is my risk? What am I willing to risk? I hope that makes sense.
It does make sense. But
Really.
now if you have, yeah, it totally makes sense. I recognize a lot of things I do that go the same way, that same train of thought. How about in what is the profile of your setups? Because in your case, since you're repositioning, for you, it's not about one trade. It's about the whole setup, right? You're looking the risk as one unit, and you may the entries are just fraction of that whole risk. What is typically what you aim for per setup, or is that also depending on the asset, the day, and the type of strategy that you're employing?
Yeah. So for instance, I'm doing an what's it called? Is it instant fund?
Hypergrowth.
Hypergrowth. I'm a bit old. It used to be instant fund, didn't it?
Yeah, it used to be instant fund.
Yeah.
Hypergrowth.
Back
So
in
the
the day.
hypergrowth, I've got $1,200 that I can lose, right? So for my target on this account is to make $30 a day and to grow it. So if I hit 10 pips 3 times a day, and that is based on 3 setups on kill zones or whatever, my 3 repositions, it can be different. Then I'm done for the day. That's it. I don't want to trade anymore. But if, let's say that I depending on the situation, I can allow myself to lose $50, let's say. So risk reward, that doesn't make sense. I'm losing more when I'm losing, but I'm winning less when I'm winning. But
Well, not necessarily.
But
I
the
mean,
hit rate is a lot higher. So if you're able to be profitable 70, 80% of the time, which I think it's a must when you're trading, you have to be able to find setups that are profitable. If you're not there then, and you start changing things without the consistency, then I would focus on finding something that is trading above 70% of the time. Sorry, Victor, you were going to say something.
No. I was going to interrupt you, but what I was going to say was, or comment, is that you said it doesn't make sense because you're losing more than you're winning. But I think it depends, because negative risk reward can also be very profitable, and that's basically what you're saying. You typically, or the traditional thought is, you have to win more when you win and lose less when you lose. But that's not really the case. You're an example of that. You say that sometimes you lose more, and that's okay because you have a high win rate. So it's I can see that. Nice.
Yeah. It's I come from the philosophy of Scruffy, that he instilled in me 3 years ago when I was in the Scruffy squad, and it just sunk in. I was like, wow, that makes sense. Like, why? And I'm sure you've heard the analogy that Scruffy says about when he goes to fix his car into a garage, and he says, I wouldn't go to someone who 80% of the time is going to destroy my car. I just wanted to go to a garage where 80% of the time is going to be a good fix for my car. So those things that Scruffy was talking about really landed on me, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I can't do exactly what Scruffy does, but what do I need to do to make it work for me? And that's when you start asking the right questions, and you start delving into, oh, this ICT guy has got some cool things that I can use. This other guy has the other things. And then you start building. Cool. It's very hard to say. I find it hard when someone says risk management needs to be this way, or the strategy that needs to be used to pass a prop firm challenge is this way, because there's and Alex will tell you, there's millions of different ways people are passing challenges. So it's
crazy. It's crazy. Some people have got a minus risk to a negative risk to reward with massive strike rate. You got then totally the opposite. A guy may be only winning, 10% of the time, but his risk to reward is absolutely humongous. There's no one way to skin a cat, as the saying goes. And when I look at my trading, I personally couldn't trade like Yiannis trades. I found a comfortable way of, found a position. I've got a direction. I have my fixed amount of risk. I've got my take profit. That's how I trade. Jonathan, that's how he trades. So the best thing to do. And when I was speaking to all the guys that came to our London event, and I said to some of them, take everybody that you are watching now, but only take the things that are only going to better your trading. You've got to take everything and build up your own trading techniques, your own book of how to trade, and not just go off of what one person says, because they're not you and they have very different attributes.
I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. And that's what I try to say to my guys is like, when you come in with, because you like a style of a trader, right? You can't go, let's say I want to do penny stocks. Would it make sense to come to my Discord or to my community when I'm trading the most boring asset? For some people, I love it, but it wouldn't make sense. So find someone that you like, and you can resonate with what he's saying, but don't expect to trade the same way he's going to trade. Expect to get ideas and then be willing to work on yourself and become your own vessel of making money, not copying other people. That's never going to work. It's a recipe for disaster.
Quick question, off topic. What do you say you do when people ask you? What do you do for a living?
Me?
Yeah. Do you ever tell them you trade? I trade the pound dollar. What do you tell them?
Oh, I always say that I'm the most boring trader on planet Earth.
Yeah. Okay.
I usually say I trade stocks, because that's where people know what stocks is. If I say forex, they're like, it's a whole different conversation. It's like I trade. So you exchange currencies? Like, nah, I don't exchange currencies. I trade currencies. Like, what do you mean trade currencies? You buy and sell currencies? Yeah, that's exactly what I do. They look at you and like,
trying to explain a date, what you do for a living. I'm not.
I think the easiest way to explain it is I always find it the easiest way to explain it is like, all right, you're going on a holiday and you're going to New Zealand, right? And you go to the airport and you're trying to change your what do they have in New Zealand? I picked a difficult one, but you're changing the Kiwi to the pound, let's say. If you go on Monday, you're going to get 3 times your money or whatever. It's NFP.
Yeah.
If you go on Tuesday, you would get half of that. What day would you go? And they're like, well, we'll go to Monday. Well, that's my job.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so you work in the airport? I'm like, yes, I work in the airport.
I'm actually a pilot.
I'll win.
I've seen you behind the desk.
Yeah, that's me. Trading currencies in the airport.
Amazing.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yiannis, you mentioned you have a profit target in a day, right? If you had a certain amount, depending on your goal, you have a target. If it hits, you're done. You close shop and you go on do something else. Do you have that for a week and for a month as well?
Well, I have multiple accounts. Like that I've got Blackpool, I've got IGs that I have different risk parameters on each of them. But those are my personal funds, and they're a lot stricter on the 5ers, because the 5ers, you have to be, it's not you don't have no rules, you have rules. So
of course,
you have to fit into what the stop losses or the drawdowns. I got caught one of them on the day drawdown because I'm not used to with the bootcamp. It didn't have a day drawdown, so you have to adjust to what you're trading and in your accounts. But to answer your question, is like every single one, depending on what I'm willing to lose, that will be my starting point for any trade. So if I've got like but it won't be percentage wise on the account. Let's say I've got a 20K account of my personal funds. I won't be like, right, I'm going to risk 1% of that, because it doesn't make sense to me. For me, the question is, with a 20 account, on an average week, how much money are you making? Okay, let's say I'm making $1,000. Okay, if you're making $1,000, does it make sense to risk $1,000 on a trade? Not really, because it will take you a whole week to recover. So what can I lose so I don't have to spend more time trading, or 2-3 weeks recovery? Because if I'm willing to lose 1,000 and suddenly I've lost 5K on a trade, that's 5 weeks of trading that I need to recover. So then it changes the question to performance based. Like how are you performing right now? If I'm performing shit, then, and sorry for the language, but I have to go back to that risk management for the trader I'm currently in that situation of time, or the period of time, because we will go up and down. We're not consistent. You have to adapt your risk management to, wow, I'm in the zone this month. Like, I'm really doing well. Why put myself on a risk management on a month that I would perform 1/10 of that?
I see. So you have a dynamic risk management depending on your performance, on your recent performance.
Yeah. And I would say more than like anything more than a month, you're kind of making it blurry. But if you're within your own month, so like the last 2 weeks, you've done it long enough now. If you've done it for more than 3 years, you get a feel as like, right, I need to tone down things here. It's like, it's getting out of hand. Or, right, I need to switch on because this is going really well. Let's keep on that momentum going so I can use a little bit of my capital. And when it changes, you're like, okay, I risked a little bit more, but the profits were so much that it outpaid the risk that I took.
Nice. Great answer.
Yeah, there you go. There's some alpha there for you guys, because that's something that definitely I'll be looking into myself as well. So I think it was about 3 weeks ago, I had a stage. I came off a time where I was winning every day. I was winning and I was feeling absolutely fantastic. And then something changed in the market conditions and I started losing, and I didn't change my risk. I'd keep the same risk because that's the way that I'm trading, but I didn't change the risk, like what you just said, is the way that I'm performing now. And because of that, I put myself into a bigger drawdown than I would. And obviously, because I put myself in a bigger drawdown, then that natural kind of feedback loop that you're going is making you lose even more. It's making you go back into trades that maybe you shouldn't do. So definitely, I'm going to take that away into my trading. So that's some alpha there.
You mentioned Scruffy as well. Scruffy Trader. He's actually coming on Wednesday. So we're going to talk to him on Wednesday.
Guys, if I can say one thing, just listen to this man. I know he has his ways with some people. Like, people might not get him sometimes, but everything he says is just gold. You just have to, a bit like ICT, you have to dig in and make it your own when he's talking about it. But it would be great to watch him. He's awesome.
Every time I meet Scruff, if I go to England, I meet him. For the first couple of times I met him, we were drinking beers and he would not stop ordering beers and talking about, all of his stories. And then one day I went and I was like, no, Scruff, I've stopped drinking alcohol. Oh, that face, he pulled this face. And I was just like, go on then, order another beer then, quickly. You can't say no, but he's definitely a fantastic guy.
Yeah, it's going to be great having him on for sure.
You mentioned Alex. This is I'm going to take a hook here because I know you've said about NLP concepts, and you mentioned something about I was in a loop, right? This is
a feedback loop.
And NLP, for the people that don't know what it means, is neuro-linguistic programming. Okay, what does that mean? Neuro-linguistic programming. It means that our body behaves, every thought that we have is a neural connection and a neural pathway. Okay. So let's say I have a thought right now, you're in a big drawdown and you've lost some money, and then you're like, right, I need to go and retain that, get it back because I've lost it. So that thought process is something that's happening in your head without your conscious will. It's just happening and you're reacting to it. And a lot of the times we think that we are not able to stop that process. And we get into that loop, like you said. So you go and place that trade in, and it feels good when you're placing it, but then you lose that trade again, and you're like, wait, I've done that twice now. And here we go. Third one is coming. I don't know why I'm placing this trade, but I can't do anything. Here we go. Oh, I'm going to place it in. And now you've put 3 trades in. And suddenly you're so far in where your conscious mind starts tapping in and saying, hey, excuse me. This has gone too far now. I've let you done too much damage. I'm not feeling safe. I'm going to close this trade. And you put your tail under and you start moving to your room, and you come back out where after a few days and you're like, oh, I just need a break from trading. But in reality, what happened in that moment of time can be, I wouldn't say fixed. It's not a nice word, but can be
redirected.
What's the word I'm looking at? The
Rewired.
Rewired. Yes, absolutely.
That's a nice word. Oh, I love that.
So,
rewire.
So you can do something about it. And today I was going to show with Jonathan, but I saw him sweating a bit, so I'm not going to do it.
No, I would love to. I would love to do so. I would love to. I would love to do a little session here.
In the Discord, in our Discord, every Wednesday we do our Q&As, and every other week we do an NLP work. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about today about NLP is something called Partswork. Okay, Partswork is think of a difficult situation. Jonathan, think of a difficult situation within trading where you had to do something you knew was the right decision and you just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
definitely.
And
know this one.
You can tell us if you're willing to.
Well, I think
this is the lie now. He's like, shit, I can't say that.
Well, I guess maybe I mean I guess for me, it kind of has to do with I guess those situations has to do a lot with trade management. You know, probably closing a trade that, like, I don't know, like I'm not really sure, but I think I get situation where I'm like, I see a trade in drawdown, and I know I should probably close it, you know, and
feeling it's gonna go to your stop loss. Oh, it's broken market structure.
So there we go. So you're basically it's all of us traders. It's so common when you ask this question. We all go to a time where that trade it was the perfect trade, but suddenly it's just going against us, and it keeps on going, and suddenly we're like, right, I need to close this now.
It happened this morning, actually. So I had a trade open from last week, and dude, like I've like it's actually interesting because last Monday I went on the live stream and I said, guys, I think I'm going on tilt. You know, I looked into the camera and said, I don't think I should be trading this week. I'm going on tilt. I should not be trading this week. Well, guess what? Did my trade journal review this weekend. Worst week in 2 months. Crazy, right? So this month I had a USD CAD trade open. I was up 4R. Woke up this morning. I'm at break even. And like that feeling, I'm like, why did I give that all? Like, why did I not close the trade when I started posting things on Twitter? like I started posting my trade setup on Twitter. I posted in the chat that we have in the trading room. Like, I'm up so much. You know, everything's so good.
Well, this is a perfect example. Yeah. A perfect example, because when we start asking and look for the words you're using, right? You say, why did I do that? Why did I do that? So that means that someone is not doing something and someone else wants you to do something. And in the NLP world, I'll make things simple here because we're not going to delve into really, really deep stuff. But in the NLP world, we call that parts work. That is a part of you that is seeking something. And there's another part of you that is seeking something else. And these guys are not happy because one wants to hold that trade, the other one wants to close that trade. And you go into that loop of conversation and you're like, right, I need to hold this trade because if I close it now, I'm not going to be gaining $2,000 and I'm not going to be adding to my account. I'm not going to be progressing. We're going to be stuck here forever. Oh my God, how am I going to quit my 9 to 5? And then we start catastrophizing. It's like, oh my God, how am I even trading? Like, how am I going to make this a living? Boom, 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 boom. Suddenly a trade has become your whole life problem. On the other side, you have the other part of you is the logical side, or there another more subtle side where it's like seeking for something. He's like, right, I don't think this is a good idea. I think we should close it now. One of these guys is going to win. And who won in your case?
Well, I think I'm not sure. I think I had an idea of wanting to let this trade run to TP, but then I had the idea that I saw some clear signs that my TP is getting front ran, but I held it anyway. You know, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna stick to the plan, but I saw that my plan is not working, and my TP is too high. Like it was so obvious.
Let's hold that. So I held it anyway. So there's a definite winner here, and the winner is the guy who wanted to hold on. We love that guy because a lot of the times he's the guy who's leading us into the profits and is making us loads of money. Right? Yeah. That part of us is really, really crucial to our success. But in this moment of time, and objectively, it probably wasn't the right idea to keep it on. Whereas this guy he's here, and the thing with parts work, we have to understand that both of these parts are trying to good for us. It's impossible to find a part of your body that is trying to do something bad for you. It doesn't exist. Even if you think it, if you say, why did I not close it? That voice, why? Because he's trying to help you. He's trying to push you to a better, bigger account. He's there to help you. He's not there to do something harmful, even if he's doing something harmful. So what we need to do, and this is the next stage, is first of all, identify what are the clear parts. For your case, it might be that part is the overconfident part, and literally draw down a face or whatever you see it like, draw it down in your book and say, okay, this is my part. He always comes when I'm in drawdown. That voice or whatever it is, he does this, he behaves like this, he likes this, and so on. Now, if we go on to the left side, he's a bit, he always looks for safety. He's a bit too safe. Every time sometimes I've closed the trade when I shouldn't have closed the trade, but I did it because I want to help this side. So we have two parts. The next stage of the part, now we know what they're looking for. We need to find a common denominator. What do these parts have in common?
I guess they both yeah. No, I guess they both want progress in trading. You know, they both want to be successful in trading, right?
So they want to be successful in trading. But what's the other side of that? What are they both not wanting to happen?
Harm you.
Yeah, they want safety and they want to be happy. Like they don't want me to be harmed. They don't want to get harmed, right?
Amazing. So we've got a common denominator now in safety. So even this guy is holding this trade for so long, he's just trying to make you safe. And we've got the other guy who's trying to close the bloody thing because it's gone too long, and he's trying to keep you safe. But they're both talking to each other and they're not making sense to each other. They're like, I want to hold it. I don't want to hold it. So then you move into the negotiation and you say, and you literally do this conversation. And the way you would do it is you would self-talk and you will be one part and you would be one part of the other. Okay, I'm in this confident moment. I just don't want to close it because I want to see the accounts getting bigger and bigger. It's like the negotiation. The other person says, I want to close it because we're bloody losing $1,000. I don't like this. Okay, how about we negotiate and we find a common ground? So I'm not, and that common ground can be something simple as, all right, I need to close it, this side. It's going to happen. I need to close it. I need to go back to safety. So now this guy is like, okay, if we are going to close it, how about you give me another 20 pips? Would you feel safe with 20 pips? No, I don't feel safe with 20 pips. What about 10 pips? No, I don't feel with 10 pips. What about 5 pips? Okay, I can do 5 pips. So now we've got the two parts that weren't able to find a solution working together towards a common goal. And soon as you do that, and I've just given you an example now, you have to make it more specific to yourself. They both feel safer. And when you both feel safe, both those parts become one. And you will see when that part of your pushing part and your part that has been seeking for safety, they will become one voice and they will say, hey, I'm happy to close up 5 pips. Then that decision is very easy.
Yeah, I think that's a really, I mean, that's a really interesting way of putting it, because I think that's sort of like what I'm trying to do when I'm journaling. I'm trying to find that middle ground. Like I'm looking at so it's actually a good example. Like the last 2 months, I've decided to only go with the set and forget approach. Like I'm going to try this out live. Like what is actually happening here, right? So let's just go with the set and forget approach for 2 months and then reevaluate, see what happens. And now that I've gone through my journal, I'm getting close to that, the end of 2 months. I'm going through my journal, and what I try to do is I try to find that balance between the approach that I'm using now, the set and forget, and my more active role, and trying to, like you said, the interesting when you have like that perspective of two people, like one says, hold the trade open. And then the other one says that, yeah, sure, hold the trade open, but maybe not for as long, And
a lot of the times you have to, with journals, we just write things down, right? And we're writing things that we think are important. But what we're not adding into the journal is the sensations of the body. What does the body need? What does the nervous system need? So you might say, yeah, I'm holding this trade, but your body is like shaking and it's saying like, hey, why don't you write down that my heart rate now is at 200 beats per minute?
Yeah.
Or why don't you go and let's not have another coffee because I'm feeling shaky. The stuff that we put in the journal is great and it's objective, but in order to answer the questions on when we freeze, because we're not talking about decisions here, we're talking about when our body can't deal with it anymore. So we're frozen in place. And I'm like, my 22K loss was my biggest example. I was frozen, absolutely frozen. It was so deep into drawdown where I couldn't do anything. And that's when NLP work came in and it started working, because I was like, right, why am I frozen? It's because I'm going to give away 22K of profits that I had worked for 4 months. That used to be my salary back in the day when I was working at a gym. So it was like, I couldn't close it because it meant that it will be unsafe for me. And then there was another part of me that had the 6 months of green days saying, hey, you got this. Like, it's going to turn around. Like, you've done this, or you've done it all your life. So suddenly we had that conflict. But you can't write that in a journal. You can't say, I can't close it because it's the drawdown is too low. You have to feel it and you have to talk it through and you have to bring it into the living or the doing.
And I think that's the mistake I did last week, was because I did everything right, and I did listen to myself and my body. Like, so when I came into that, into the office that Monday and we started the live stream, it's like I had that feeling, I had a feeling that says like, I'm very confident, maybe a little bit too confident. The trading has going too well. And now all of a sudden I'm not seeing the things I used to see it. The market is not as clear. And I told myself, all right, gotta be careful, maybe best not to trade. But why did I trade? Why did I continue trading? Even though I've told everyone I should stop trading, but I traded anyway, I think that's a huge problem, not only for me, but for a lot of people. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people are break-even traders. They have 3 very good weeks and then 1 week where they give it all back. I feel like how can NLP help with that? You know, that issue of everything's going well, and then all of a sudden you know that you should take it easy, but you're just continuing and you're taking all the trades, and you know.
Well, it's interesting seeing this from an NLP perspective, because it's almost like there's a lot of beliefs or limiting beliefs that are coming out there, and our body is very quick to say these limiting beliefs. You know, like, I am doing this because of this. This language is the cause effect. So if I am taking more trades and those trades are losing trades, that means I am this type of trader, or I'm this person. Where in reality, you might be having a bad week. Right? But we go to the cause effect. We go like, because I've had this bad week, that means that the next week is going to be bad. Even though it's not reality, it's just the perception of what you have on your bad week. So what you do in NLP work, and there's a lot of work that you can go down doing limiting belief stuff, and we would be here for like 10 hours. There's other stuff that you can do with your the perceptual positioning, for instance. Perceptual positioning is a very, very, very powerful application that you can use from the NLP, and it's how you can take yourself away from the situation and look back into yourself doing trading. And now I'll give you an example, a quick one, if we have time, with your example. Let's say you've had a bad week, and you come back in the next week and you're saying, right, I've had a bad week, I shouldn't trade. And you go and do it anyway. Okay. What we would do in a one-to-one setup, we would take you, and you would have to stand up and walk around to do this. But what you would do is what you call position 1 is your current state, where you see yourself acting and trading after that bad week. So now you would be in yourself trading like you are now. The second position, you would remove yourself from your chair and you would go back where it says profit, and you would visualize and you would view yourself doing that, right? Doing the bad trading and actually doing the second week of trading. And you would reflect on it and you'll be like, what are you seeing? Well, I'm seeing my body language is a bit down. I don't look like my normal self when I'm trading well. Okay, so then you would bring yourself and place yourself back in the chair with that knowledge that a second perceptual position gave you. And how would it feel? You'd be like, okay, I can see that point, but I still feel like I want to trade. And then you go to the third position, which is the observer position. So the observer position would look at yourself looking at the situation. This gets a little bit trippy. So you would view both yourself looking at your position and yourself trading. And normally he can be a coach. It can be yourself or it can be a coach. Let's say a trader you like. Let's say you like Yiannis. Yiannis is that third person looking at you and the situation that you're trading. What would that coach say in this scenario? Would he advise you to trade, or what would that be? What language would he be using? What would he be seeing? What would he be talking? So now you have your perception from a different angle, and you also got your coach perceptions of how he's seeing yourself doing the action you don't want to be doing. And if you have the ability, and after a lot of work, with my NLP work, I can go to fourth positions, which means I can be outside, and this is all in your mind. You're meditating on this. I can have one position there, my coach position, and one position outside the house where he's very, very objective, has no clue what's going on with my trading because he can't see my screen. And that gives you a sense of objectiveness. And it gives you a sense of, okay, I think it really matters, but it doesn't matter really. I've just had a bad week. So then you take all that information and you bring it all back to your chair. And then if you do this practice, you will be able to shift what we call a state, because it's a state. When your body is in that state where you can't do things, you can change that state. It's an option. doing these exercises, you will be able to change your state and be into a state where you want to be trading. And normally, if you do that, then that state will probably say, actually, I'm going to take a day off and I'll go for a coffee today.
Okay, so tomorrow I'm gonna come down to the office. I'm gonna start the day. I'm gonna meditate. Okay, so during that meditation, I'm gonna imagine that I'm watching myself as I'm watching myself and my trading process and the way I'm thinking, right? But you're also saying that I should add a third person, and that should be someone that's not me.
No, it's you're thinking of the third. How about this? Don't share this link, but I'll share you my perception of position and video on Discord. But you can't share it with anyone because this is from the Discord. Just for yourself.
I'm not going to share it. Yeah.
Well, if you do, I'm not going to send it.
No, I'm not going to send it to everyone, of course.
But just for you, because it's hard. Yeah. There's two ways you can understand perceptional positioning. Is either someone doing it on you, so you don't know what's happening, and you're just doing it, and you get the feel of the NLP practitioner is doing all the work, and you get the feeling of it. But because you have to be your own NLP practitioner, you have to understand what we're trying to do and how you do it. So it becomes a little bit more difficult.
It's funny.
No, I mean, I Alex, go ahead.
I was just going to say, because some of this stuff that I kind of can relate a little bit, because when I'm going through a certain types of patch, I kind of sit back and I try and visualize myself in third person of the personality that I want controlling that account. So if I've got Alex's personality, that he's a great trader, he knows how to manage risk, he's a profitable trader, what would this Alex do right now? And when I've been in some situations where I am getting overly emotional, I would sit back and do that third person look as a total blank slate. Like, it's like the Japanese. There's a thing with the Japanese with different masks. They have a mask for their family, they have a mask for the business, they have a mask for their friends. And every time they're in front of those people, they put on the mask, and that mask is their personality at that particular time. But there's always that main character. And the way that I put myself out, I put myself and I make myself, I'm the main character, and I've got all of these personalities that I'm actually controlling. And then I just obviously look at that personality. I'm saying, okay, that personality of Alex, of he is this type of trader, all of that stuff, I put him into that seat right there. And that has actually got me out of some really difficult situations and has made me probably a better trader just by doing that.
Well, that is perceptual positioning. You're doing without knowing it, basically. So all your given a personality is playing the third role, is that objective of the observer. Because in the second position, you're viewing yourself, and you do that in your head a lot, where you're like, right, I'm doing silly things now, I'm going to step out. That's your second observer saying that. But your third observer is your coach, and that coach comes up with you in a better state, that calm state, that master state, or whatever you're calling it. And he is better equipped to make decisions for you in that moment of time. So what can you take from that and bring it into your current situation when you're dealing with the difficult situations where you're going to have to make difficult decisions?
Yeah, I must say that we're getting really people really love you in here. We're getting really good comments and getting good views and good likes and everything. So guys, if you want to hear more from Yiannis, need to go to the description of the live stream where we have his of course, hit the subscribe button. But also subscribe to Yiannis YouTube channel. You can find that link in the description. Yiannis, I would love to have that NLP video that we mentioned as well, because I honestly think like when it comes to my trading from a technical point of view, I'm not really having any problems. You know, it's like I get it all set. But from a mental point of view, I really do think NLP here can help me a lot. Because like I said, like I would be so much more profitable if that fourth week was limited. You know, like because there's a pattern. It's like 3 weeks, everything's awesome. fourth week or something like that, give or take a couple of days, right? It's like, yeah, I'm giving back like half of what I made, you know. And I think, you know, I think that's for a lot of people. They have that, you know, they become overly confident. It's like, yes, I'm the best trader in the world. Oh, wait a minute, maybe not, you know.
It's that thermostat that I keep talking about. You know, you got that thermostat, you know, where at the top of the thermostat, you've got the most equity, you're winning, you're feeling great, and then your body naturally has to cool itself down and goes to the other side of the thermostat where you're feeling like crap. Now I've got to get my risk management in check, and you just oscillate between these two ranges. And I've seen it through so many. I've seen it for myself. You can see it through yourself, and I think the game of trading is just getting to the next range and oscillating that next range.
And you have to remember that it's not in a lot of industries where you try to improve yourself at this level. You might be you might be in a job where you're trying to improve your Excel skill, or you're trying to improve, I don't know, a new methodology that you're trying to make it your job. Whereas this is a lot of inner work. You are the person who's bringing in the money, and you are the person who's stopping you from doing that. It's very rare that you're in a situation where you have to deal with that in your life, especially when you're in a team environment. You can rely on the team, you can rely on others. Whereas here, and you might see that in the 5ers, for instance. Hey, I can't take this live. Okay, I'll jump in and do it. But when it comes with trading, it will be like, hey, I can't, I've messed up that trade. Who's here to rescue me? Oh, there's no one. I have to bring someone to make that decision for me. And that person is you, which is extremely empowering. But the learning curve, you have to see it as a long journey. And remember, I'm sure we have some experienced traders, but most of us, even myself, I'm 3 years in. This is very new. We have to allow ourselves some slack. We are doing really, really good job on like trying to learn something that is extremely difficult. And we're trying to pursue a career that 99% of people fail. So in order to be in the 1%, guess what? We're going to have to do things that other people don't do. And that is a lot of inner work. And like Alex really well explained, is we're going to do things that are going to be weird for others. Me thinking I'm outside of my body, doing stuff and like pretending that I'm outside of my house, trying to, do weird stuff, do things that the 99% people don't do. And you have a chance.
Try to explain that when someone asks what you do for a living. I try to imagine myself being someone else, you know, watching myself.
And then another one outside the house looking
in the airport.
I might be caught like this at the airport going to the hospital.
Alex, could you help getting the setting the giveaway link and everything up in the back end? If that's
I have done it.
I find it a lot very insightful, Yiannis, because
this was really good.
I of course I don't have that background you have, so I don't know why I'm doing things, but I talk to myself, and I sometimes I feel not ashamed of telling people about it, but it's something that I don't tell everyone, because I'm alone talking to myself, and let's say I go to the kitchen, but I'm actually in a discussion with myself why I'm doing this or not doing that. And I don't know why I'm doing it, but I know it helps me because it puts me in different perspective, and it makes it possible for me to detach myself from what I'm feeling, from my fears, from my greed, and make me detachment, take a little bit of distance from the being in the body, in the feeling, in the emotion, and that position makes me, and that's what talking to myself brings to the table. And I don't know why I'm doing it, but I know it helps, so I do it. I actually do it out loud, and I'm fine by it, but actually I need it. I need to hear my voice talking to myself. I know it sounds weird, but
no, it definitely doesn't sound weird.
Oh, okay. Well,
no, it's not. It's not weird at all. Like what Yiannis just said. Like we got to do some weird stuff. We got to do the stuff that the 99% of people fail at this, and that's probably because they they're not weird enough, you know. Like honestly, we have to do the stuff that normal people think is like, you know, weird. Like this weekend, you know, I was gonna sit down with my trade journal. That's also the thing. Like we got to do this boring stuff. Like trading is not all about just executing trade. Like I'm sitting down with my trade journal. I'm looking at my statistics. I'm like, it's Sunday evening. Like it could be better things to do, you know. But if I don't do this, I know that I'm not going to be as successful, you know. So I need to spend the time, you know, doing this boring stuff, looking at the statistics, tracking, you know, tracking my emotions and all of that stuff. And like that's how we improve as traders.
I think you've all said it really well there. And for me, the journey to coming to Bali and meeting people here, that has been because you have these beliefs that Victor is about. Or was that? I missed that.
Yeah, he's not going to take the mask off.
His mask off. How do you know this could be the moment? This could be the moment. And then suddenly you see it's Jonatan. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. No,
The twist. But what I was going to say is that a lot of the times we're so small in our own world, where we just try and figure things out by ourselves, and we think that the answers are within our small community and the small people that we know. But the world is so big. Allow yourself, when you know, your beliefs and experiences are the closest 100 people that you've talked to. You can't expect to know everything that is going on in the world because you have not been out there. And I can tell you, I meet people that on a daily basis where they just know so much more than what I currently know. So try to be less closed-minded, be open-minded to whatever it is, risk management, how you trade, how you're doing things. And then eventually you will see that openness will give you the answers that you're looking for without you seeking them, because it drives you on that journey of exploration naturally.
Mm-hmm. Boom, mic drop.
Yes, very, very
Good
well
stuff.
said.
Good stuff.
Yeah, man. I honestly, I wish you lived in a time zone where the difference what was it this big, because obviously you're in Bali. It's probably like 10:30 or something now. Is it?
It's 9:40.
9:40. Oh, well, still pretty late to be doing a live stream like this. Like all I want to do is like, I just want to be laying in the couch at that time, putting the kids to bed. You know, I'm all done for the day. So yeah, I definitely appreciate your time and appreciate you coming on here and talk about this. And hopefully we can get you on more in the future. You know, because this NLP stuff, I think, I mean, it's. I know that, you know, you guys want to see live trading and, you know, us, you know, taking trades live and that sort of stuff, but that's not really going to help you as much as talking about these sort of things, because like you can watch me take a trade. All right, you'll learn how I trade, but learning how, because we're all humans from a psychological point of view, we work quite similarly when it comes to these things, right? And NLP works for you know, for all of us, and depending on, like, this doesn't matter what trading style, trading system you have, these types of things are obviously very, very useful.
NLP is nothing voodoo about it. Is nothing crazy. All it is Alex likes the gym, hates to be told he likes the gym. I like the gym. We know a lot of people that like the gym. You have to go to the gym and lift weights to become stronger. It's the same with NLP. It doesn't just work. It doesn't just, I've done an NLP session, now I can deal with my drawdowns. It doesn't work like that. You have to apply hours and hours and hours. I would probably do an NLP exercises every morning. And I would say a big exercise, which is more than an hour, once a month. But you get to a level where you know what you need to shift. You know the state you need to shift. And when you feel the state coming, you have the tools to adapt and change it. And it needs practice. It needs a lot of practice. And it will be awkward in the beginning. Jonathan will be like, wait a minute, I'm sitting there, he's talking there. Am I speaking to another person? Or in the beginning, it's going to be like that. But you do it enough times, and then you become so you just know it inside out, and you can do it whilst you're walking and buying things in the shop. You'll be like, wait a minute, like I was trading that trade, doing that. It just becomes second nature, and it will be really useful.
When you're talking about, you know, switching that state, are you talking about, so the example that I had, you know, this Monday when I started, you know, feeling, you know, like I was in a drawdown, are you talking about like switching that, like getting back to normal, getting back into the flow, you know?
Yeah, I'll give you a quick one if you want. It's called anchoring, right? So remember, we've done perceptional reposition. I've given you a whole course on NLP today. You've done perceptional repositioning, Partswork, which is integration of the parts. And now we're talking about anchoring. So we all have states that we don't want, right? So Jonathan, explain your state when you were in that situation, just briefly.
I guess one word would be tilt, you know, going on tilt, but also I guess it's confusion and frustration, I think would be kind of like some sort
Okay, so confusion and frustration is something that was quite prominent in there. And when you say tilt, what do you mean by tilt?
Doing things I know I shouldn't do.
Okay, so like that jump the gun kind of situation where whatever happens.
Well, yeah, you know, I see a trade setup. I'm like, I shouldn't take this trade. Boom, I'm in the trade.
Okay, yeah. we all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there.
So you have a state which is a non-desirable state, and what you would do in NLP work, you would do what's the desired state? What would be a state that you would want to be in that situation?
Yeah, for me, I would like to, you know, if I say that I'm on tilt and I feel confusion and frustration, I would definitely want to switch that to something more of like a, you know, clarity, you know, focus and clarity.
Okay. So then what we would do is, when was the last time you felt clarity?
Probably the trading week before that Monday. So the week, not last week, but the week before that.
So the week before that. So 2 weeks back.
Yeah.
So if you could go 2 weeks back, do you remember what you were wearing that day?
Probably the same thing I'm wearing right now.
You haven't washed your clothes, Jonathan. Come on.
Well, yeah, but it's 2 weeks ago, though, so it's like.
So I'm just joking. So you would go back, and we want to grasp the actual day, what you were doing, how you were feeling, what trades did you take. The key with this is to actually go there and feel it and be it. And we need to identify the clown suit.
I'm sorry, the clown suit. That was a few weeks back, though.
Oh, that actually happened.
Bring that up. Yeah, it did. And we had it. Yeah.
So you will need to go back. You will need to go back, and let's do one small example. Like, if you can think about something about that day, can you remember what was different about that day? Because you had a lot of clarity on that day.
Well, I think I would like to look at the whole period, like from, I think like the whole of April was like spot on. That was like, I was in such a good flow. And I think I'm not really sure what I did, but everything just worked out. I think what happened was I was able to be just completely relaxed and accept you know, the randomness of trading, you know, basically accept the outcome.
Here's the thing with NLP. We can't be vague.
Okay.
We have to be extremely specific. Because if I say, I want to go to a time when I was a 6-month green day trader, right? That was amazing for me. It was my best ever. I need to pinpoint a day when I was at my best. not my general good 6 months. It needs to be a specific day that you deem to be the most clarity you've ever had in your life.
Okay. Yeah, that's
If you've got it,
it's difficult.
You don't have to share it, but you need to do the work and like think of it. And it might be that it's not traded related. It might be
for me, like I can no, for me it's about being outside in nature. Like if I know, like I have a couple of days that I think about, and it's definitely going to be like it has nothing to do with trading. You know what I mean, it's being outside, probably on my bike, looking at a beautiful view, and just being relaxed. You know, probably after a nice workout or stuff like that.
And that was the most clarity you've ever had in your life.
The most clarity in my life?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, that's a difficult one. That's a difficult one. That's gonna, I mean, obviously I gotta have to think about that one, you know?
Yeah, and spend some time and think about it, because like if you're looking for clarity, that you're trying to, you didn't have clarity and you want to replace clarity, you don't want to half-ass it, in a nice word. You want to have the most clarity you've ever had, because that is what we're trying to replace of a state of mind. We're not trying to go, I don't want to shift my state to be okay when I don't have clarity and I'm not performing well. I want to be the most clear I've ever been to make decisions in that moment of time. So we need to identify, and you won't do this exercise until you know exactly what moment is, because then it's very easy, but you need to identify what that is. For me, for instance, I'll give you an example, just because you've never done this work, so it's hard to get yourself into it. But for me, I was seeking state flow. Like I always wanted to be in the flow state. And I
think that's what I'm saying when I mean clarity. Basically the flow state of mind, you know.
Okay, so in flow state, for my example, would be when I used to play semi-professional basketball. I remember this specific day, this specific game, where every shot I was hitting, it was going in, and it was so easy. And everyone would throw me. They were looking for me because I was always scoring the ball, and I felt so confident. I felt so absolutely incredible. That was the perfect moment that I felt flow state. With NLP, you can take that moment and convert it into something you can use in trading. And this is what we call anchoring. So now for you, you would have to think of a moment where you were in flow state.
Yeah.
Have you got it?
Yeah, I can probably name a few times, yeah.
So then what you would do is dig deep and start thinking about that float state event. What were you doing? How were you feeling?
Yeah. You want me to tell you?
Go for it.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, last time I was in a flow state of mind was probably like 2 weeks ago. You know, I was trading, I was in my office, and I was actually on my exercise bike at the charts and trading, and I did get a strong sense of like I remember scanning the markets, looking in the markets, and I just had a very strong sense of direction in the market, and every trade I took just felt perfect, felt right.
Okay, just pause there for a second, and I'll ask Alex, can you see the way he's speaking when he's talking about his flow state?
Yeah, he's lighting up, his face is opening up, he's...
Right. So I just want you to pinpoint that moment, because that's a shift of state, right? So when
Alex, I can feel it, you know, now that I'm talking about it, I can definitely feel it, you know, that shifting.
Even someone across, I don't know how far you are apart, but someone across the world can see it from a screen that your state is shifting. So now that as you are doing this exercise and you're talking about the flow state, and because the first time you're not going to really delve in, you had a moment, I could see that moment. When you feel that moment, what we need to do is to anchor it. And what we do by anchoring it is we need a physical anchor to the sensation you're feeling in that moment of time. And you can do a pinch. And I love the pinch because it's easy. You can do it anywhere. So as you are talking, the moment that you feel the peak sensation of the state you're looking for, the flow state, you squeeze your finger as hard as you can to the state that is painful. Really, 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 really hard. So what we're trying to do there to the nervous system is we're trying to trigger the sensation that you feel in that moment of state to an anchor. And you do that over and over again. And you can do it one more time. If you start talking about it, just so I can leave you with you practicing it, just take us back to that sensation take us back to that 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
as you are doing that, you can do it at any moment of time underneath it. You don't have to show us. When you feel the moment of absolute flow state sensation, you squeeze your finger as hard as possible as you can.
All right. So I was on my exercise bike. I looked at the markets. I had some nice, some nice music in the headphones, and I was, heart rate going up. I looked at the market, and I had a feeling that I couldn't really describe. I just knew that what I was looking at, this was the right thing to do, and I had a intuitive feeling of
there it is. I hope you squeeze your arm there.
Yeah, I am. Look at this. Like I'm really squeezing.
Right. So yeah, no, I can see it.
Yeah.
I've seen it a lot of times, so I can tell when your nervous system just clicks. So in that moment of time, when you feel that shift, when you're not worried about Alex laughing or anyone else, and you see, and you had a millisecond there where you could identify that moment.
Yeah,
that's when you squeeze. And now what I want you to do is go back to talk to me about the bad week that you had.
Okay.
And whilst you do that, I want you to, at some point, to squeeze your finger and see what that does to that week.
Okay, so I remember looking at my 5ers dashboard, and I was, I remember looking at my.
You can't even get into that state right now.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's difficult. Like, I remember looking at my my balance, right? And then I looked at my equity, and I remember looking at my equity and thinking like, damn it, like I gave it all back. And I started feeling like, yeah, I started feeling feelings like, yeah, it happened again, that 4th week, I, started giving it back. And yeah, it had a really difficult time dealing with the fact that I spent almost 2 months on a perfect path, almost just to give it back in like 6 trades. That was insanely hard to deal with.
Okay. So did you squeeze your finger at any moment of that conversation?
I did, yes.
How did it feel?
It actually, like, it did. I of course, because we're doing this, I also actively thought about the flow state of mind. I guess that's the idea. And yeah, it kind of like, because thinking about it, Alex is really trying not to laugh now. Like he's.
I mean, like this is super educational.
No, but
I'm loving seeing
okay.
you in
So
this state.
no. Honestly, like I started thinking about it, and I started kind of reliving the memories and the emotions, especially that 4-hour trade that went from like 3.9 to break even. That really, like, that sucks. That really, really, really sucks. And I thought about that, and because, like, honestly, if only that trade would have hit TP, it would have been all good. Okay, it would have been just all good.
And the thing is, don't expect shifts when you have never done, right? Because like these things are uncomfortable. And yes, we want to laugh about it and we want to scream about it and like, yeah, look at him doing that and that. That's our childhood coming out. That's fine. That's great.
Alex, you got to work on that childhood trauma, obviously.
Dude, I just love seeing you in these. I can just imagine you just thinking about just smoking a cigar outside.
And I was the same when I had to. I literally spent a week last week. I think it's an English thing. There's some English humor right there because we had to do it. We had to do something difficult. We had to look at each other's the eyes without like expressing emotions. And all the English guys, including myself, we're just pissing ourselves laughing. We couldn't do it. Yeah. But if you accept that and be like, okay, we're going to laugh about it, and then you keep on digging in, there will be a point where something's going to land and you're going to be like, wait a minute. Whoa, this is changing my state. This is no joke. So if I can use this next Monday when I go into the trading floor, I won't be laughing then when I'm making $500, $1,000. So it's that shift where you start feeling, you joke about it, you laugh about it, you do it as a joke. And I joke to Martin, one of our Vanguard members. I said the first time I actually did it and it worked, I was in the bathroom I was at work and I was like, I'm feeling really shit right now. I just want to punch this person in the head because he was like giving me some feedback that I didn't like in my previous job. And I was like, I wish I could do something about that. And then I did the exercise and I was like, what would I want to be in this situation right now? How can I be that person who is a bit bigger than him? So I would visualize myself being bigger than him, being more alpha, being more that whatever he says doesn't even bother me. And I would anchor that. And I did it once and I was like, shit, I've tricked myself to believing this. So I went out and I had the most amazing conversation. And he shifted his state because he could see I was coming from an alpha state. So suddenly what I was being feared, I was actually the dominant figure in that conversation because I was able to bring that up. And in this scenario with trading, after this session or whenever you do it, that anchor, it might not work in the beginning because you haven't anchored it appropriately. But when you anchor it, and another exercise is then you kind of amplify the anchor. How even the physical pain, how can you make visualize a bright light around it, that it gets stronger and stronger at its core, and it's becoming this dense light, it just affects every single cell on your body. When you get to that state, shifting state just becomes like that. You can shift that state like it's turning a page of a book, and it's really powerful when you can do that.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm able to if I'm able to do that when I need to, and I mean, honestly, it has a lot to do with, it's not only about trading. I mean, it's situation in life as well. You're in a situation where you get a bit frustrated or whatever, right? And you can switch that mindset. It's insanely powerful if you're able to do that. All right, Alex. Alex says he needs to.
I'll do the giveaway now because I've got some stuff for this event for Trade the Pool, and then I'll leave you guys to it.
Yeah, but I also have to go. I got soccer practice with the kid, and I'm not gonna keep Yiannis on here for longer. He needs some of that NLP sleep, but Yiannis, like, this is. I'm very into this. Like, I'm very, very interested in getting to know more about NLP. And I mean, if you're open to that, if you're okay with that, doing another like session like this, if you're open to that, I would love to do that, because what I'm gonna do after this is you're gonna send me that clip. I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna start start pinching my fingers. I'm really, I'm gonna try to practice this. Maybe start reading some on NLP and.
have no expectations. Like don't try and go in with expectations that I'm going to do this and it's going to have this impact. Just see it as something that you're going to try. And the more you can go light on things and you don't go with, I need to do this and this is the way it's going to help me, or I'm not getting it and it's not working. The lighter you can be around these things, the more you're going to see the impact.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm just gonna take it for what it is. Take it easy. Try to approach this at just the way I'm supposed to. Banu is saying Jonathan is tired. Let's get started. That's absolutely right. I am quite tired. People they know me. Sorry. They know me on here. It's like it's that time again. No, but Yiannis, thank you so much for joining here today. And guys, make sure that you give Yiannis a follow. And he also has the challenge he's doing. You need to check that out. Check that out. The link is in the description of the video. You got 4 weeks left to sign up. And as I can see, only 58 spaces left. So make sure you go check that out.
I appreciate that, guys.
Take care. We're going to do a quick 30 seconds and then we're going to be back with the giveaway and everything. So guys, turn down your your earphones because this is quite loud. Okay?
All right. Okay, so that was the event for Trade the Pool, and Alex is going.
I'm going to. Oh, sorry, mate. I didn't know you were inside. There's a little bit of a lag. But guys, this is what Alex. You have been waiting for. It is time. Not the giveaway, but we're going to be doing that in just 2 seconds. We're going to be talking about the deep dive trading event, turning you from a noob into a pro in 8 hours. That is basically what Michael Katz, the head of Trade the Pool, is going to do. So you've got 8 hours of free live stream event with massive prizes. All of the guys from all of these different companies like, TrendSpider, TraderSync, Bookmap, they've got their experts that are coming in that are taking you through their playbook, how they got into trading, basically to help you guys get to that area where you're profitable as well, so you can then have enough money so then you can spend it on their products. That is the whole gist of it. Okay, guys, so that is the reason
basically
why
you make money and they make money.
Exactly.
Everyone's profitable and happy. And let me just add this Trade the Pool is obviously for stock traders, equity traders, but this event is not only for people that trade equities. This is for Forex traders as well, because you will get to learn a lot about trading, whether you are trading equities or Forex. So guys, you're watching this, you go sign up. This is free. All you have to do is you have to go to the link in the description below. You sign up with your name and your email and you get free education, completely free. It will make you a better trader. So no question about it. Go sign up.
Yeah, there you go. Let's do the giveaway. So I'm just going to turn off. Wow, that NLP stuff. Pretty.
Dude, that was
good.
yeah.
That was
Yiannis is awesome.
Very intense.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
I was on the verge of bursting out laughing where you were thinking about the trying to do that anchoring. I was like, what? I wonder what he's thinking about. Where is he trying to put himself?
Yeah, but then I got it though. Like I really got it. Like I started thinking about flow, and like last time I was in flow, like what happened? Like where were I? And I had that moment, where I'm like, yeah, I'm on my exercise bike because I function best when I move around, So I'm like, yeah, probably some exercise or working out. But then I'm like, yeah, on my exercise bike, doing the market scanning. I kind of remember that, So it's powerful stuff.
It's very powerful stuff because you have to deal with yourself every day. You can't avoid yourself, right? It's not something you can change and throw. Like if it's a part of your strategy that is not performing well, you can say, okay, I'm going to avoid it. I'm going to replace it with something else, but you can't replace yourself. So you better, get better with how to perform better, how to, not do those things that triggers you or get you into that circle, vicious circle going into tilt, for example. I think it's very, very powerful. I mean, who doesn't have issues, with doing things you shouldn't be doing, holding, controlling those impulses? We all have them. When you see something that is attractive, you want that instant gratification, or in any case, faster gratification instead of that delayed, that we know that is better, being calm, waiting for your signals. It's very powerful stuff, not only in trading, but in life in general.
Oh gosh,
Super powerful.
Are we doing?
I just did the.
Are we supposed to?
I just pressed go on the giveaway by accident. Okay, I'm
two,
pulling this up now. Yeah, so I don't see a link here from Thursday. Did you send a link for Thursday?
Thursday, I mean Wednesday.
Wednesday. Ah, correct. So I do see it here. Okay. So it was the 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. Correct.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. How many winners have we got?
681 on this one. We had on Wednesday. We had on Wednesday. How many did we have on Wednesday?
Okay, 6 of each. So 6 from.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me put. I should be quick because I'm already late.
Yeah, I'm getting late as well. Should be 12,
that
right?
was yeah. So okay, I'm gonna do a new quick draw, just so we just. Okay. This is already saved, but just in case something happens, you never know with these things. We're gonna do a new quick draw. Okay. This thing is we're gonna do 6. There you go.
All right.
There you go.
That's it, guys.
Yeah, buddy. Lightweight.
Everyone's writing NLP in the chat. Okay, never mind. The sign up site is in the description of this video. So
I'll see you guys later.
All right. Take care. Take care. Alex is what I'm supposed to be saying. Okay, so my kid is waiting. Gonna get him ready for soccer.
Congratulations,
practice.
everyone, on those accounts. Congratulations, big.
Yeah, and also before we go, while I was doing the NLP things right here, I opened a position on gold. So this is a quick little position on gold that I have my stop set entry right now. So while doing this live stream and all the NLP, I tried to manage this trade at the same time. It's it's crazy, very stressful. Anyway, all right, guys. Thanks for joining. Make sure you go to the link in the description below to sign up to the absolutely 100% free trading event that is going on with Trade the Pool, 8 hours long live stream. It's going to be really cool. See you guys tomorrow. We're going to do a live trading session tomorrow where we're going to be doing, just live trading. All right, guys. Take care and see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hi guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. Now make sure you like and subscribe, and most of all, go into the YouTube and check out